Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Word of Mouth. Well, yeah, a couple times a week, Golden Tee Show. Get to go through some topics of your guys' choosing. Get to talk about it. Get to play some golf. This week, well, this episode, we're going to have a little bit of bigger news here. Some really cool info that we got. We'll go through that in a little bit. To start with tonight, I want to take one more play at the home events and show everybody my approach on this now. Clubs and balls I'm sticking with from here on in. And we'll try not to have a DNF to start this one. I've gone through quite a bit of the setup so far. It's rough sledding, guys. It's tough. I think you're going to have to adjust your expectations that par on the course is generally going to be closer between 34 and 35 rather than the assumed 36 of an eagle on every hole. It's just that there's too many holes that play back and forth, and on average what I'm finding is I'm rarely getting a 36 setup. I think I've maybe had 3 in 80 games, but generally about a 35 setup, 34 setup. I had one where it was a 30 setup though too, so it can change quite a bit. So we'll start off with one right here, give me a chance to get loosened up, let some people join in, and then we'll get talking and tell what the good info is. Brian, welcome to the stream, but you're right, it's always Shy Sox. Hi, Kins. Oh, Ryan Bennett, too. Hi, guys. How's everybody doing there? So, if you look, I went with Titans. There's benefits to streaks. There's going to be benefits to having stouts. The happy medium is what I went with. Having the distance of the Titans, having the spin of the Titans, just mainly because I had streaks going and got an out window of 15 on Teton with the pin tucked in the top left. That since I'm not a big streaks guy player, I had no idea how to stick it. I bounced it up short and tried to do that, but unfortunately I caught the rock, trickled down in the water. Stouts were useful when you get to 18 to the Jamaica Island green hole, because in setups where it was into a 15, it made a little bit of toughness there. But we'll start this one. We're going to start here with Titans, and my Build-A-Bag is a little different. I actually put a bag together of all 3 of the main drivers. You got the 8.5, 310. You got the 9.5, the normal stock driver, and then you have the 10.5. Now we're going to go down through. I got rid of pretty much anything. I don't even really need a 7-wood, but it's good to have, I guess. I don't know. For chushing, I was using it a little bit. 5-iron for my chipping. 7, 9, and 2 wedges. 2 wedges I found have been useful because some of the bunkers that while you're trying to drive some of these par 4s ended up in some rough spots. Having the sand wedge in there helped me out a little bit. I wouldn't go with the lob wedge because I don't make shots with the lob wedge. We got to start here though that it's going to take a poke here, but this shouldn't have a problem getting there. Stouts, that would have been a little closer, but I think that would have been there anytime. Is everybody hearing me okay? I can look through and figure out how to get that thing up. It looks strong on my end, so I'm not sure if it's maybe you, Al, or if it is anyone else. All right, so this is part of the reason I ended up. Jordan's here too. All right, Al, I gotta think that's your end there. Volumes are the same all over the place. We finally got a setup where this is drivable. So we're looking here. Remember, I talked about the V in the trees. You want to stay in the middle of that or slightly right. It plays through that tree. I'm gonna go with the 4-wood today. And I like to backspin this for a little bit of extra height. I haven't given the big news yet. Apparently I didn't need the 4-wood. I muscled that up there pretty good. And that's a good start. That's the non-warm-up shots there. Oh well, we're one off. Thanks, Rodney. We love you. And it sucks because this has been friendly. The first ones have been friendly. I've actually had this hole, and it's rare to see, but 10 in your face, pin tucked in the front right hand part of the green at 380. My A1s weren't long enough when it came around, so I was ended up in the bunker. It was the only times I've ever seen that. This one's gonna be a chip. All right, we're gonna try a shush. I'm no good at these yet, but we're getting there. All right, so we got the church. That helps. Another reason why I added the second driver on this because of this hole. I wouldn't want to hit the 10.5 coming at this right now. So, but the 9.5 should be pretty good. Except it plugged, but I think I'm okay to putt this. All right, good. When you got that putt from that hill, that first bounce dramatically turns left. It turns left a little bit more. So when I played that almost as a left 4. I do the same thing on the chip because that chip, when it lands, it bounces in one hop, just straight left. Yeah. Yeah, I've switched that off. I switched that on. I said it the other night. George, got to give credit to George and Eddie Godfrey there. That one thumb chush, once I figure out that thumb motion, I'm hitting it 35 almost every time. It's just different than how I used to do it before. Before I could aim a little bit with shushing, so I still have that other shot in my bag, and I'll do a palm one. But that one thumber, man, if I could hit it 35 every time, I could pretty much hit it straight too. All right, now Restream last day or so has been having some DDoS attacks, so I sometimes will lose the chat. I don't have any idea how many people are watching or anything like that. It doesn't matter to me. It could be one of you talking to me, and that's fine. But so I had some good conversations with Adam Kramer today. I'm happy the man takes constructive criticism really well, right? Eric, I'll go through the chush in a minute here. I want to get out the big news that we're talking about. So I gave some constructive criticism on my thoughts on this event. And to be frank, after last week's, I was excited to play last week's. This one, I've played it quite a bit. I think I'm about 90 now, maybe. But it's a different aspect. It's a lot of... it's 90 games that I wasn't enjoying. So, and we saw it last night. You saw it. I sat there and I was talking through it. And it just was... there were some really good parts of it. It's challenging. It's a really good challenging set of holes. But if you guys look at the leaderboards right now, we're noticing that we've got... I mean, I'm in the lead and I have 100,000 great shot points through 5 courses. That's less than my average per round. And this is a par 36 course. So that part of it, you can't really attack holes. That was my biggest qualm with it. And then also, I think Coral 1 is another issue for me. But past all that, the course is great. Still got 2 qualifiers. Prize pool went up. We added more players that were paying. So it's down paying out up to 60 now. So a lot of good things that come with it. Now, the other good thing that's come with the amount of games you guys have been playing on the home edition is this. Well, most places are thinking that we're canceling events and getting rid of them. Well, we're adding 4 more home edition qualifiers to the mix. So right now we've had the 5 home edition weeks of 2 weeks. Of 2 players each week. What's going to happen now after this 5 weeks, so next week's course is finished and we get those 2, we were now awarded 10 home edition spots. The following week and the next 4 after this are going to each have 1 more spot awarded for each one of the week's winners. Now, obviously, it's going to roll down, and if somebody won, it goes to the next person, just like any other time. But those 4 people are going to get added through home editions. It was a buffer that was built in based off of the 88 players being allowed there. You saw that there were 4 extra spots. Well, the home edition event stuff has just been gangbusters. You guys have been playing a crap ton. I know I've been a part of it. I've knocked out quite a few, but we've been pounding through this a ton, right? And last week was really big. So I have no doubt that the prize pool will go up a little bit more. Pay out some more people. It's great news. We want to thank Adam and IT, Kevin, Adam, all the guys. They're all great. They're all former players. I say former players because a real player wouldn't have done this to us. But But nonetheless, and when I say this, I meant the events mode. But nonetheless, guys, hey, he makes a lot of them. I think Adam said he's done 600 courses for events over the years. So there's bound to be some that we don't like as much as others. Still play it. There's still money to be made and spots to be won. Going back to as well. Now we're talking about, I've seen posts and things lately that we're canceling, worlds will get canceled. All right, we're realistically, and this hasn't been announced, this is me speaking, this has nothing to do with IT. Guys, it's going to get postponed. We all know that. But from the vibe that I get speaking to IT and speaking to Adam Kramer, there's no way in the world this event's getting canceled. Yeah, it might get pushed back to September or June, or who knows. It might not be in the place that we think it was going to be at. There's so many things up in the air, so many balls to juggle that I'll wait for somebody to make a comment off of that too. But we don't know. We don't know what the future's going to hold. But if in the powers that be want to have a world, we're having a world. So don't let that dissuade you from playing any of these to try to get a spot. It's fun. It's something to do during this. Burn through the rest of this now. We could get some questions in here. I see Eric Ludke's asking what a chush is. The basic theory behind a chush is to hit the club at the lowest speed possible for the club that you're hitting. All right, so, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I'm seeing, though, because I was never a big chusher. The theory is very easy to understand, though. The lowest mile per hour you can hit forward is 35. So just like when you max out a shot, there's a max distance that you can hit. There's a low distance that you can hit. It does quite a few things. When you're hitting a higher club, let's say I've got a 50-yard chip, right? If I got a 50-yard chip and I can hit a driver, now these numbers are mythical right now. I'm just pulling them out of thin air. It's not the number. But if I was going to hit, let's say a 50-yard chip, I could take a driver out and hit it as soft as humanly possible as it will read the first time moving forward. And by hitting it as soft as humanly possible, one, it takes a lot of the bias out of the left and right. It makes it have less play left and right because you're hitting with such a low rotation moving forward that it's hard to get it to even read directionally because you're hitting it so slow. It's a hard thing to get down, but it works. The other part of it is you're hitting it dead straight at a pretty solid clip on a lot of those. So you're fighting through breaks. You're taking a lot of wind out of play because the height's real low because you're hitting a lower height. It's a lot like chushing. I mean, it's a lot like chipping, but it's with no pullback, and it's just a short forward swing. It's a fine-tuned mechanic, and some people have gotten very good at it, and you'll see it by a few people every now and then. Wow! All right. We got some new people in the chat who are acting just like a bunch of asses. Mike Demko, pleasure to see you as always, sir. But don't you have a kitchen to be remodeling or something right now that we can see pictures of? No problem, Eric, anytime. Hey, Norbs, buddy, love you, miss you. Hope everything's well for you. Fantastic. All right, so far, I mean, we see these holes all the time. I still like the way I play this hole more than most. I go low tee, mainly because I'm underneath the tree. I'm underneath the trees pretty well. Yep, so we got 4 extra home edition qualifiers, Al. If I get the cut right, I can shoot that right at the hole. Chris, the big announcement was that we have, for crying out loud, the fact that I'm now going to be mad that I missed that too. No, Nate, that's incorrect. And this sucks so far. This sucks. Missing the flying 1 or flying 2, which is coral 1. Now this is like one of the rare setups that par is going to be the number. Yeah, it's funny, Chris. I was thinking to myself, like, wow, if it wasn't for getting on and doing these streams, I would not be showering hardly at all. So it's a good thing. You guys have kept my personal hygiene up. I am starting to get a little bit scruffy on the hair. No haircuts, man. It's the little things. I forget how much I like to print myself. No, and if it does, then I'm gonna miss every other chip. But it's not my first chip of the day. I banged out a bunch of these events earlier, just trying to get a feel for them and see, just so I could be adequate right there. And I hate to say it, I'm freaking sore, man. It's a lot of hammering on this events too. It's a beating. You're burying balls to try to get holes 380 tee shots too much. Oh, I thought I was going to get a good kick. No, Tim, I have got the first bounce on the Titans. Tim Boyer's asking about the first bounce with the Titans. The only reason why we even think of it being a problem is because we all adapted to grabbers. The first bounce on the Titans, the same as the streaks, the same as the stouts, the same as stock. That first bounce isn't higher or lower; it's the same one. Chris, the announcement was that they've added 4 additional home events qualifiers. We're going to have another month of these tournaments going on after week 5 ends, and there'll be 1 player each month. I mean, 1 player each week from there moving forward. So, yeah, did it take a little bit getting used to? Yes, for a while. I think I was holding out less. But in general, I like them a lot. Like, probably best ball I've ever made. And as much as we call stouts cheater balls, yeah, Facebook can never see YouTube comments. But I think YouTube can see Facebook comments. So, and it's all about a bunch of home edition play, man. These guys have been playing a ton. Maybe, hey, and now that we're adding 4 spots, I think CJ might get his home. I missed that ball, but that's okay. That was a long poke to get there. Actually, I didn't miss it. I hit it 150 with a cut. That just wasn't going to get there, I don't think. Yeah, chipping to start is my worst. Well, so, I mean, but even that was not a very friendly look at that. Not a horrible look for this. But man, there's a couple looks that you guys will see coming in that's where that pin is, but back at about 290 and an outwind dead out of 15. I had streaks coming in on that, and I don't know. I don't play streaks on that course. I had no idea how to get that. Wow, I killed that. All right. Well, hey, we got to see a clean look, though. The look for this one was a clean 36. I want to say that's the 5th one out of maybe the first 100 games. Yeah, I had to stick with Titans on the home edition event. But I had a couple questions about operator menu, basics in there. So we'll pop into it. I'll just pop in, and the major ones is forcing a call, screen size adjustment. For if you're ever having issues with something, one of the good things to show us on the board, if you ever need to post and get some help on something, is going to be your hardware stuff too. So first we're going to go there. So we go to troubleshooting. Troubleshooting is also going to be where we get our screen size adjustments. If you look here, Well, this one, my TV, it's maxed out as the biggest one it will go, so it's actually perfect with it with the resolution, so you won't see it. But if you come to this screen, the outside border of the white box should line up, and you should see the whole outside border. Right? The outside white box should line up with the outside edge of the borders. That's really it. Smaller isn't nearly as bad as too big, because it's not, you're not missing anything on the screen. But when it's too big, and it's a lot to do with an overscan setting, a big hertz, too many hertz popping out on it, will make it be a little too big, and it changes the aspect ratio a little too. Just go into this, do that. You'll do a reboot. Oh, I gotta make it. Let's get it back to where it was. I don't want to make it do a reboot. Okay, then also in here, we got system tests, right? I'll look in here for this one too. I'll go to hardware tests and check the hardware software. System info will tell us the Nighthawk version, size of your hard drive, what memory you're running, what all the goodies here. To my knowledge, I think that everything here is the top one of everything that they can put in that we have available quite right now. The G4, I know the video card, the 1050 is the top one. If you notice, I have a different hard drive in there, which is going to be that one. That one's an SSD that I put in. I added some memory to mine as well. I added 4 gig, but it reads 3584, but it's kind of standard. Otherwise, the motherboard too, and I'm not a motherboard guy, so somebody else might know more about them. That will be, I think this is going to be the top one that they got. Version info, you can come in here and find out all the firmware, what game version if you need to know. You can also get this by hitting the help button when you're on the player select string. The SSD sped things up quite a bit. The reboots on an SSD went from, well, I'll put it this way, 2 things that tested. Didn't update on a non-SSD, and the update took 25 minutes, I think, this year to redo or to finish, 25 to 30. With the SSD in mind, my update was finished installing and done in 7 minutes. General reboot time for me before doing it, I think our benchmark test, we were doing it from getting from turned off to the green screen. And that green screen was getting us, it was without an SSD, I was just short of 10 minutes sometimes. Obviously depends on what was there database, but on average it was like 9.5 minutes, and boot time now to get to that green screen is under 3 minutes. So yeah, it's very useful. It allows me to reboot my machine a lot more. The last one somebody asked about was, we did the screen sizes troubleshootings. That's literally all I ever do in here, right? I don't like this screen, the player control test. People look at this and think that there's a problem with their trackball, right? Because they think, okay, so I pull it back straight, but they think that, oh, well, the ball's pulling back to the right. No, it's really not. And remember that the readings are only like in this amount of time, not the whole time through. See how it looks like it's going off to the left? It technically, the design of the ball makes it do that after a short amount of time. But the readings are already taken into account well before that ever happens. So this screen's a little bit, it's a little bit misleading. Now, I think that covers it. The other questions I had about for tonight were, someone wanted to see a Rustic bridge, an oldie but goodie. So I'm going to pop through that one right now. Thanks, Josh Bertzig. Got an invite going with Josh right now. For this, and the next one I got is Coconut as well. And I think I put it in the titles in case you guys ever want to go back and reference it a bit. And I hit the wrong damn chord. I didn't know. I missed the screen. So I guess I'm playing Coral first. Yeah, I'm so drained on this hole, too. All right. The general shot is inside of the outside left tree from this box with a cut coming in. Being that I'm going to hit a high T 8.5, I need to roll this, or else it's too high and catches a branch. Now, the biggest thing I can't do here is the left tree here. If I hit that leaf coming by, I'm in deep crap. and I mean, I can't, yeah, I can't argue with that right there. But like I said, it's a crapshoot. You can get pretty good, but I'm rarely on the green. You're playing for a chip. It's not that it's. I don't have a lot of fun with that shot. When it's the one through the trees, it's pretty doable. I mean, most of the time you can get some ugly winds and ugly pin places that make it a little ugly, but I'd much rather have that than a round the edge shot every time. Yeah, and the roll with the 8.5 high tee is absolutely imperative. It makes the gap that you can go through a ton bigger on that. And now we got a lot of basic holes coming through here, so hopefully get a hole out. Really, your course positioning on this is going to be you gotta learn to manage the course on this one. Where I tee off to is really important, especially since I'm not changing my clubs up at all. I don't have a low lofted iron to go through, so I have to make sure to play with spots that I don't have overhanging trees. I saw enough of this one on the HE par 3 last. Chris, there's no difference between a 150 going, all it is directionally, right? So it just has a multiplier on it to make it look cuter when you're hitting directionally. So for instance, it maxes out at 158, and that's just inside of the 1 and inside of the 3. So from that, it has an incremental, it goes up incrementally from the tip of the 2 going out directionally to those. So if you're hitting 143, you can only hit 142 dead straight to 2. If you're hitting 143 on a hammer shot, you're just a little bit off the 2. If you're hitting 150s, it's because I'm aiming out 1.5. So it really doesn't end. I'll tell you this right now, I've tested a 150, 1.5. If I go BC to the 1.5 and hit a dead straight shot and it reads 150, the distance that ball will travel is identical to a B2 at 142. That number is just a pretty look. It's not changing the max distance at all. It's really good. It's good information to have and see how you hit it and what your lines are. But you have to know how to adjust and make those calculations for how a ball is hit directionally and how much distance it's changing. One of the big ones you'll see, and I did this for a while too, thinking that it mattered, but if I'm playing a thumb shot on something and I thumb it out to 2.5, right? And it reads 95 miles per hour. My partner could come up, tee it to the right, and thumb it to 2.25, and his would read 95. He'd fly it and go wet. It's because that 95 at 1.5 is actually like an 82 straight. And it's that distance, that number isn't making it go further going directionally. The reasoning I heard, well, not even the reasoning behind it, was when they first made the shot meter, the numbers out directionally were reading like way lower. And I want to say the Godfather said, well, hey, we don't want our people thinking they're hammering it out directionally and you're hitting it so soft, going so softer. Put some kind of factor into that to make that number look bigger. So there's a factor in there that multiplies it by God knows what the number is as you go out directionally. And that's it. And that's an after-the-fact graphic thing. It's not changing anything on the input. All right, sorry, went a little bit over on that, but hopefully everybody understands what I mean by that. There's a lot of those stupid little picadillos that once you learn it, you got it in your mind, and now you just remember it, and yeah, it starts coming. It's like Common Core math, I guess. You think about it like how you're playing with the stouts. Once you do the math enough, it's just second nature, and you know how to adjust. I'm going to say this one again. This hole is so important to get rid of everything else in your mind that's not in play. I mean, to me, it looks like I've got it. When I first looked at this hole, I thought I'd have to bend this around a ton, right? But in reality, it's going to be hard for me to show where this is, but just off dead center, the farthest left tree, I want to call it a palm, or it looks like a palm tree. That's the only thing in play. Everything else is behind it or under what I'm going to hit. So, for instance, I'm going to just hit a straight 8.5 driver here, play the wind and miss the tree by a little bit. That's it. My goal is to hit the bunker on a fly, just short of the bunker. Even the rock wall short will kick it up. I just don't want to hit the inside wall closest to the green. That'll shoot me backwards. Anything else, if I hit the bunker first, it kicks up almost every time. So we'll see. Comes right out. Now that one I caught the edge a little bit, so that wasn't my favorite, but mouth likes eagles though, so that's good. I mean, there's a lot of shots here. Today we're just going to take the standard 9, the standard 8.5 around the outside. The standard 8.5 doesn't hit anything going underneath. If you get real close to the middle, there's one branch that hangs down. You can low tee it and skip from there too. There is a problem with that though. You bring a bush on one of the islands into play, and it's one more risk that I don't need. When the wind's right to left on this, I rarely look to go for it. I put myself in jail too many times. There is a shot with the driver, dead straight through the middle of these trees with the 8.5 with no tee. It's medium tee and roll. So I get a good outwind and I'm at 400. I'll sometimes just hit it dead straight here. That's the 8.5 medium tee. So I don't know what, with the other drivers, obviously you'd have to adjust, but the 8.5 medium tee ends up being the perfect height. If it's a left to right wind, I'll bury an A1 around, and occasionally I'll go around this way, but I don't have good luck with it. Risk to reward isn't there for me. So this one, we're just going to knock it out. Yeah, see, that read 98 out directionally, right? But that was my 85 speed. But I got that out pretty far directionally with my thumbs, so it had that kicker on it. Doesn't change the distance one bit. And really, honestly, with the setup on one on this, on what we just played today, getting the eagle there, I don't know who this invite's even against. But I would have to think, unless it's a really bad handicapped one, that I'd have this one in the bag now, because there's only one stroke I'm going to miss at most the rest of the way through. And that would be this hole, but this hole's actually pretty friendly. Still be very careful on this hole, especially in the home edition events right now. If we're looking, I can't tee it up here. It puts me in rough. You got to be careful where you place this one. And to my understanding, the patch is ready to go for it. It's too big. Don't know when we're going to be able to get it since it's too big. Oh. All right, I'm starting to get a little warmed up. Is this one, my legs don't hurt too bad right now. With the pin being short and this being 392 and no big outwind, I'm not going to go for this one today. The 10.5 for sure can go straight right now. The 8.5, just to the right of the tree, the middle tree, so the tree's slightly off right of where I'm aimed right now, it will clear parts of that. I want to say it was Brian Bernhardt and I were playing in Orlando, and we hit a 9.5, an 8.5, and a 10.5 at the same shot, and we got on with all three, or just had short chips hitting straight shots with it. It was a little crazy. I didn't think the 10 and the 9.5, I mean the 8.5, had any chance of getting up there, but it did, going straight. But that's something you'll have to play with. Just know that it is an option on a lot of setups to hit the C3 with the 10.5, or hit the 10.5 straight, or sometimes a 3-wood straight. I mean, sometimes a 3-wood C3. I'm really not looking forward to playing Coconut, because that one could be a quick, really ugly game. Get up there. Oh, sorry guys, I haven't been watching the chat because it froze up on me. Let me reboot this for you. I kept looking at Tim Boyer saying good to know on Facebook, and I was like, wow, these guys really aren't really talking to him tonight. Just got to reboot this computer. So if you guys had anything pressing questions-wise, I'll tell you when I'm back up with the chat, and you can let me know, and I'll go through it. But PS too, guys, there's some other really darn good players in the chat with you right now. So ask away. I'm sure everybody's willing to lend a hand and answer a question or two. Except, please don't listen to Al Jazz. Ask the question. If it sounds like, man, that can't possibly be true, chances are it's not true, and we'll just ask it again and get you the right answer. I do love you, Al. All right, this thing's booting back up. Let's see what we got. All right, there we go. I got Art's message up there. Hi, Art. How you doing, buddy? But as we can see, course is pretty damn basic. If you get, that's why being so basic, that shot on one is such a horrible hole. Mainly because you could be out of a match on this course after hole 1. Right? I mean, because really we saw, I mean, there was not really much I could have missed during this, right? This whole setup had nothing to give or take. It was put in the middle of the fairway, approach, maybe hole it out and get close. And the holes 8 and 9, they're iffy sometimes, and one stroke maybe. But being that it's it's only one stroke. If I lose 2 or happen to hit a branch on 1 and end up out of bounds and have to do it again, I could be down 3 holes. We watched it happen at the purple bracket match in Wisconsin. Like, it was just, it sucks because 2 good players end up having a game that is just unwatchable. All right, A1s and C3s, for the most part, do go further than that than straight shots. It's not as dramatic now that there was a glitch that was causing B2s to drop down, like you were hitting it with no pullback, so you'd be hitting it at 120 speeds instead of 140s. That's since been fixed. It no longer exists. It's a lot closer now. I find myself not using A1s and C3s nearly as much as I used to. Hi, Daz. But otherwise, yeah, they go a little further. And it's a touch shot now. The hammered A1s and C3s don't read right anymore. Part of the fix changed them. So with the A1s and C3s, it is actually a speed and feel shot now. You get a good pullback, and then you have to find the touch that allows it to hang all the way out and keep the speed up. I used to hit A1s and C3s every time I could hit 158 before, unless I missed the trackball. So it rarely happened, because the way I hit the trackball, I rarely miss it. Sometimes I'll come down into it a bit harder than I want to, but I'll rarely miss it with an A1 or C3 or a hammer shot. But yeah, I can't do that anymore on A1s and C3s. It's a different shot. I think a lot of us are still learning it. I see a lot of people hitting A1s and C3s where they're getting the reading of 151 to the middle of 1 or 2 in the middle of 2 and 3. You're overhitting it then. That's really all I could say, is that it's an overhit when that's happening. So we just played Coral, so we got a little extra one involved here. The two we saw, we wanted to hear Rustic, and I know we were talking about Coconut Beach last night too, with some of the unique plays that have coming in on it. I'm going to play my standard set, my Titan. I'm going to play Titans. I'm going to play my standard set of clubs. It's my 10.5 driver, 7 wood, 9 wood, 5 iron, and then irons on down. There's something with this course. I don't think any of us back in the day played the 10.5 driver, and holy cow, is it life changing on it. I mean, we couldn't do that with the. You had to play a better shot than that. I didn't hit a very good one there, but now we noticed rain here too, right? That one I probably could have just bombed a 3 wood at, but we noticed we got rain here. Look at the meter on the left. Notice how it's showing my distance is 302, but I know my driver's, what, 323. Get rid of that thing on your head when you're in the rain, right? When it's in rain, that number, don't look at that. You can hit the normal distance. The only thing that changes from rain is the roll or release and the backspins, right? So it's just not going to take off as far. I can still land the ball exactly the same distance as I was able to do without the rain. So like here, this looks like it's way short, but if I man up on this, I'll fly this green. So I'm going to hit this in the 130s probably and go at it. I hit it. I maxed it. All right, I didn't fly the green, but... Oh, no problem, Robert. Thanks for checking in. Once again, you got to know your distances. Don't trust the yellow line on the left on this. Luckily, with this iron, it's a little different. Rain doesn't change the distance at all. The cut on the 10.5 and the 3 wood are different. And yeah, they are very similar clubs, but for some reason, the height's almost identical. The 10.5, well, you can hit the 10.5 farther. Oh. Yeah, that's what it said. It's just the roll, release, or spin on it won't nearly go as far as it did before. It will land in the same spot, the landing spot, the carry exactly. Kinsler and I have an affinity to this hole. Him and Ryan McCook in Chicago were playing a 1 through 5 variation multiplied by 10, and Kins and I both laid up in the fairway. No, more cut on the 10.5 driver. 10.5 driver cuts more than the 3 wood. But we both, Kins and I go with put it on the fairway, and McCook's like, you guys are dumb, I'll drive it. He drives it, and Kins and I both hole out from the fairway. So if you know a 1 through 5, that's a $6 hole out for us. Well, McCook makes his putt, and we don't pay putt points for double eagles even. So he got 0, and we both got $60 out of him for it. He was not pleased. It was a fun one, though. That was the day we learned about executives as well. It was a good day. Yeah, no, the 10.5 is going to cut almost as much as any other club out there. There's some of the hybrids will cut a little bit more, but the 10.5 is going to have out of all the woods. Oh, and McCook was just yelling him up a storm like, no way, I get points for that. No, dude, no, double eagle points don't count. We should be pretty clear. We could go over this tree with a high T, so I'm just going to hit a high T6. And once again, my distance for the high T6, it should be showing like 240 something. I'm actually going to hit this pretty solid though, and I'm going to release it and not backspin it. Backspin might have been good. And for me, the 6 wood's a little bit shorter than the distance that it gives anyway. So if I'm having to cut it, I always overcut it a little bit because it cuts a little softer than most of the other woods. Yeah, I don't like the rain because the rain will take away shots. This hole from certain tee boxes was on. Right now, we're just going to knock it up and have an approach. But from certain tee boxes it was on, but in the rain it never bounced hot enough to get it up. Now I'm going to play roll on this, and you'll see that a lot. That in the rain you will drop down and play roll shots in, because the backspin is dramatically reduced. Like, it won't hardly move back on a backspin shot at all. But roll, you can get it to shoot forward a couple feet rather than that. So you get a chance. I can hole it out with no risk too, because there's no way that I'll fly the green with this, but I might get it to shoot right in. That was one thing about rain. You could attack pins, and I would say it was points-wise, I probably got maybe a little bit more points in rain, but yeah, I rarely hold out as much. This one too, now we just had the end of a rain, so the course is damp. The roll on the surfaces will be less, not as much as if it's pouring rain, but it will still have less movement on it. On my normal set of... that was just for the events, Tim. That was just for the home edition events this time. And mainly it was for Coral 1. Coral 1 with the 8.5 went, since we have to roll it to keep under a certain tree because we're high teeing it. yeah. Oh, dude, it's a steel trap up here. I mean, I rarely black out either, too. It's one of the problems. Everybody always talks about how funny it is when people hoss. Like when you get drunk and you pass out. Yeah, you get made fun of that night. I think Richard King and I have both always had this same problem, is we get to that point where we should pass out, and it makes us want to make awesomely bad decisions. Like, we just lose all inhibitions, but we don't get tired. We keep going. It's kind of scary in a way. Like, I wish I could just pass out after having a night. But instead I'm up and I want to do worse things. The biggest reason why was resource allotment on the machines. It's a percentages thing, but if you look back and see, most vendors haven't updated their hardware on their machines to anything worth playing on anymore, right? And with the new graphics and things, no one's that. That's not true, dude. That's crazy talk. But with the new graphics and things that they have, if you haven't upgraded, you didn't have the resources to handle even their new graphics engine wouldn't run right unless they dumbed it down. It's why we saw things like Pembroke, how you'd have the grass on older video cards or older motherboard video card combinations. The grass would have extra blades on it now, or we see a fog rolling through here that when you're playing on a machine that isn't updated to the latest graphics cards, they don't exist, and it calls to a different database on the hard drive to load the graphics up. So they actually aren't really there because you can't run the machine wouldn't run, or it would be stuttering, or I gotta give their developers a little bit of props on that. It's a tough road to hoe for them when you have people that don't update things. Marty, I'm gay, I'm leaving Jill, and I'm having a Star Wars themed wedding. And everybody's invited, so it's going to be awesome. That is the announcement that we missed. So, Des, you get to come again, too, and I expect another case of that wine that you brought. That was pretty solid. That was a nice Pinot Noir. Now see, I don't know. I think a high forward gets over this. I believe it does. I think this is on with the high four. Yeah, I'm going to try it. We'll see what we get. No, I think this is a putt. It's sloughed off. I need to hit a little bit better. Hey, Eric, that's good. That's really good. No, but we've added some extra home edition spots. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he could. I've got some relatives that are dentists too, so Tansy won't have to pay if he falls down again. So the big announcement is that the home edition tournaments for the events, they're going to add 4 more Worlds qualifiers. The number of 88 isn't changing, but they had an extra 4 allotted for, I mean, kind of just in case. But those are going to be 1 week home event contests starting after this next week's one. So we have 2 given away for week 4. We have 2 given away for week 5. And then after that, the next 4 weeks are going to be a solo man wins a World's Pass for the next 4 events. The prize pool should continue to grow. I mean, the play that it's gotten has been insane. I wanted to stay on the fairway on this tee shot, guys. I think I should be okay here. We'll see if I get over. I don't remember if out of the rough it was fine. Yeah, it was. Now, there's something, too, you got to look at now. And even, this is for people that have going back to play the old courses again for the first time in a while. There's newer surfaces. Some of the new surfaces or newer surfaces, they didn't exist for us back then, and I'm positive of it. We pretty much had rough at first cut, fairway, and sand. There's new surfaces all over the place. Like, there are spots that were rough for us before that are heavy rough now. And we know heavy rough plays a little different. All right, I'm going to take this into, I'm going to bring out my new style of putting on this putt and go through the math on it, right? So with the dynamic putting and talking about rollovers, I think most of us, when we look at this putt being 73 feet, we would be assuming that we should C-putt this to slow it down because it's a down 6 and we're going to roll it over. Okay, and here's where I believe at 73 feet, the putter distance that I'm going to get is an 80-foot putter. Then we take into account the balls that I play, and I've now got an 83-foot putter. So I'm at the far end of a putter for this, right? So on this particular putt, this would be a rollover putt if I putted this without C-putting it. If I was, let's say, 80 feet away right now, I don't think this putt would ever roll over, even on a down 6, because I'm at the very tail end of the putter distance, that it doesn't have the sauce when it gets to the hole. It's dying out by the end of it. I'm going to putt this one without C-putting it, and this one very well still might not roll over, but I have a strong feeling that this one would. Okay, no. So now my theory on that one is that at 73 feet, or at the distance I was at, it still gave me, at the distance that I was at there, it still gave me the shorter distance putter. Now, is it the question of how do we know when that's going to happen? We have zero idea. I haven't found a reason to give exacts on it. It's just a guesstimate, Chris. I mean, roughly that's about a guess. For stouts, I'm calling it 1 foot extra or 2 foot extra. For Titans grabbers, anything not named streaks or vanguards, I'm giving it 3 feet, and streaks I'm giving 4 or 5 feet. It's a theory in training right now. You can't see the putter distances. It's dynamic, and it's a hidden thing altogether. It's just something that, even though we can't see it, I know it has to be true. So it's something that you kind of want to start dialing in your mind while you're playing, if you want to be that precise on it. But what I found is, I've had putts now. Let's look at Teton 15 and Teton 18, where down 8s, right 4s type putts, or Teton 17 and 18, that down 9, right 4, where I am confident now that my 32-foot putt, I'm not C-putting it anymore. I just hitting it in. Now, obviously, if you go too high side, it's going to lip out, but that's not a rollover. Lip outs happen. That's you missing the putt. Rollovers are where the ball's coming too hot and skips over the cup. but it's there though. So there is a distance. There are of, and I haven't gotten them exact yet because I've been playing these damn events too much lately. I haven't figured out my exacts with the putters, what the gaps are and what the actual dynamic putters are. It's clear that there's a 10 and a 20-foot one and a 30, and it feels like every 10 feet. It's the question of when we get to 50 feet or more, is it one every 15 feet? Is it a 50 then a 75? And it would make sense that it would go 50 then 75, then 100, 125, and 150. But I don't know for sure yet, so I can't really comment on that fully. But man, if I could know which putts in this game are gonna roll over or not, and I knew that, because as much as C putts makes the putt, it makes it less likely to roll over. Oh yeah, oh absolutely we are, dude. Chris, I'm far away quite a bit. I mean, especially those last holes on Teton. You have to, with the club sets that we play, I don't have a low iron. If I don't have, on 17, there's a ton of times that I've got a 40 or 50 foot putt. Or if I drive something that I shouldn't have, that putt's gonna be, on that daily, on that events mode for home edition, I'm having 370 foot putts a game probably. A couple looks at this hole. My first play on this is if I get an outwind, I want to bomb it as far down the fairway as I can. I'll have a C3-ish shot in, but it's really the only fairway shot on this hole. Now on this one, I got a wind in my face. I'm not going to get it far enough past to have a good shot coming in. So what I like to do here, they don't. Okay, so that's why. We'll call it MS. Says that C putts seem like they break more. It's not that they break more, it's that they're coming off the club at a slower speed. So it's taking the break more. It's the same break, but they're going slower hitting that break. So you're not putting hard through the break. Which, it's another kind of putt. It's not as easy to recognize that you're doing it. If I have a down 8, left 8, and I C putt it, I'm playing it like a down 8, left 10, or 11, depending on the distance. If I knew that putt wouldn't roll over if I center cupped it, I'm going to play it like a left 6 and power it right through, right? I'm going to take away the break like I do on all shorter putts. So it would be a big benefit moving forward. Now, the other ways to go here, where I want to be, I'm going to hit a C 2.5-ish type shot that bends this to try to get the line down the path exactly right. And I want to lay up onto that cart path, or what kind of path it is, the walking path. Like, I want my ball to be there on it, because my second shot then goes lower and it's shorter, so I'll have a 10.5 driver that only goes 250, and I'll only have 250 to the hole, so it's perfect. Yeah, you can. Nobody's been on it for a while. Okay, I didn't get it out far enough, but here's the joy of this. It's fine. I can get this on. I still hate where I'm at, but we'll just cut the 10.5. All right, 10.5 was not enough. Oh, I almost got screwed there, though. If that bounces on that bench, it's unplayable. So I probably needed to cut down the cut down the 8.5 and hit it like a half swing shot. All right, I'll call you massages. That's fine. That's crazy. I feel a little weird by it, but I am having a Star Wars themed wedding, so who cares? On this one, we know that your cuts aren't going to be very much out of this, so I'm just going to hit a full A and try to make this up on the green. I don't think there's a way I can make this. Wow, I muscle spasmed that a bit. Now I'm going to par this because I'll miss this. I can't make the short right chips, guys. Especially out of the rough, because I have to aim it that way. I can't get the break to work the right way. All right, now this one's probably drivable today. We're gonna look at it a little bit. It's a poke. We're gonna try. It's an A1. I mean, really, this is gonna be here. No, it's gotta be here. Yeah, I gave the major news already. We gave it off real quick. Sure thing, Timmy. Major news is there's 4 more home edition spots. You'll see a post from it or by IT here shortly. I don't want to go through it again. I've gone through it like 5 times now. That was going to be rough to get it back, but come on, that was too good of a chip. Oh, I rolled it. I should have released it. That was too good of a chip not to drop. Yeah, I very well could if I knew. I mean, you expect me to know all these technical things, man? Like, that's a Richard King thing to do. It's not a mark the mouth. I'm here to play and talk. Yeah, it might have been. Plus, it might have caught the path on the flyby. I really think, now that you say that, I think the 10.5 might have been the right play. Even a 3 would. Wow, I crushed that. Jesus. Anything bad? 18. I'm sure a lot of people would rather be hitting fulls at this, but when I learned the course, we didn't hit fulls. So I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to hit a soft 10.5 high tee with backspin. I'm high teeing this because I want to keep this to the right side of the green. Thanks, Des. I want to keep this on the right side of the green with this cut coming in, and I want to be able to cut this soft too. Have it land and then trickle back down the hill. So I'm only going to have a little cut on this. Dylan is not a Worlds qualifier yet, Al. You are really bad at this, rubbing it in people's faces, dude. Dylan got passed last night at the closing bell. So that was coconut. It's an up or downer there. What do we say par would be there? I parred a par 5. I missed an eagle shot. So Robert, that's a problem that I have, and I said it too. No, he's not. Gino got it last night, not him. But no, I have a little bias on my pullbacks. My problem is I've been doing it for so many years that I'd gotten used to it and play a little hook on all my chips. When I'll try to adjust to get it back straight, I then push my forward shot through. Gino has a home edition, I thought. Dylan, what are we thinking? Is Dylan Widener in? Did he get a spot, or are we in a new world? Is Dylan in or no? But I feel like I missed about 3 shots there, so I think we were looking at a 28 setup there. All right. And no, Frank, Worlds will not be getting canceled, just so that... Oh, you're in. Good job, Dylan. I thought Gino was in. I'm sorry about that. All right, so we're going to go one more invite here. And this one's Coconut. Coconut's another fun one. There's a lot on this course going on. Oh, I could play Whammy on Indigo, too, but knowing him, he'd be watching. Oh, and actually, there it is. Good. All right. If we're not on the very back box, this is drivable almost every time. A lot of times with a straight shot now. Since I've been practicing my chushing, we'll try to get up for a chush here. Wow. Huh. I don't have a shush at this. See what I mean? How when I tried to adjust, I adjusted too much. Another hole that can be drivable, you got to be teed up on the box on the left. It's not today. And even when it is drivable, it's a really hard shot. Oh, wow, that's bad, but it don't matter. It doesn't matter where you're at over here. I just made myself really hard to hole out the second shot. Oh. This one here, we're going to leave it a little short of the bunker. You're always going to have a cut shot in. It's rare that you can go much farther than this on this hole. I'm going to release this, even though it's a little, I'm playing it soft with a cut. Depends on the chip. I mean, it really obviously depends on the chip, honestly. There's some chips that I will rip directly in, and some chips where I'll play the slope. For instance, I made the chip on 17 of the last course. I played that slope dramatically. And it's going to be all a feel as you get used to certain holes moving forward. All right, we're going to play a cut, 8.5 driver. There's a couple looks on this one too. Some people, there's a shot through the trees, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous because you're bringing in a lot more negative variables. But on this one, you think about if you're looking at this and you're thinking about the distance, you're thinking backspin's right. And backspin's probably not going to be the right shot at all because the angle that I'm coming in at, in order for this cut to get back to the hole while fighting a 6, if it hits the furthest left edge of the green, it's going to snap to the right too much. So for me, this shot has to be bite or nothing. And I'm going to use bite, but my cut is to be a cut enough to basically, I'm going to pretend like there's no wind on this. So I'm going to play my cut to what I think is going to get me going at the pin. The wind's going to push it back left farther than that, and the bite will make it turn farther back right. So I think that the bounce after my bite will even out with the break of the wind that's pushing it to the left. Now, obviously, it's not an exact science to where you're going to cut. It's a bunch of repetition to figure out what clubs cut at what pullback. And when you're getting comfortable, a lot of the reasons I do the restart a couple times is because I don't feel like I have the cut exactly right. So we'll try this. And I don't want to hit this hard. And I see I overcut it that time. And because I pulled it more than halfway past the AB, it snapped on me and went further than if I had just hit it with no cut. All right. This one's a tricky hole. To my knowledge, there's not a second shot club that'll clear the tree line in front of the green, right? So we're stuck at playing a shot around the edge. In a perfect world, I want to have a 9.5, an 8.5 driver coming in. Because especially with this outwind, I can play it with enough cut that it could skip the water if I leave it a little short. It stays under the tree line. And I have less to deal with. The other problem with it is, though, is it's really hard to leave yourself back 300 to 310 on this hole and have a decent shot coming in. I mean, that's back here, and the line that you have to get in it, it's a different one. You have to have a different spot lined up in the fairway in order to have the right line coming in, and it's a tough one to manage. We'll try it, but even if I leave myself a longer club, it'll be fine. I didn't want to be this far right. I don't like where I put this, and my distance is way wrong. But we're okay. I'm going to play the 3-wood. I'm going to hit it from this. This is an ugly look now. I put myself in a bad spot. All right, so I'm going to hit an undercut from right at the pin, meaning I'm going to pull it just slightly left of the B, and I'm going to throw it all the way out soft. One, I can kill more distance that way, so I can play up one club above what I want to, above the distance marker, and still have it get the right distance. Two, when you play that almost straight back and throw it all the way out directionally, the ball goes pretty low too. So I get a little bit more variable there. So we'll see if I can do this right. Okay, so I cut it a little more than I wanted to, but it worked out okay. It wasn't a great spot. I mean, if you looked at that shot, I could have hit a 4-wood too, and it probably would have been even closer. All right, couple plays on this one. I'm about to hit it. All right, the trick play when you're having a bad round, you can hit a low T driver, sometimes just a normal driver right down that little hole. It's stupid and it's a waste of a shot. It's not an easy shot that's repeatable. You can also play a high T pretty much anything and go over the top. I like to play it when it's nominal winds like this. I'll play it a lot of times to bounce the roof because of the distance. It won't ever go long when you bounce the roof. And when I say ever, guys, don't say, well, I had to go long, but I had a 16 outwind on it. Yeah, of course it's going to go long. But on this setup, I could bounce the roof or I could clear it on a fly. If I try to clear this on a fly with this club, it's a big hop, it's a big poke coming in, and I'm going to roll through the green. I could hit the 10.5 and just crank it, which is what I think I'm going to do. If I do get it over the top of the building, it's fine. It's perfect. It's not going to go too far. If I hit the roof, I got a putt that's downhill, not too bad. And that's knowing your distances too. I know that for me, my high T 10.5 with Titans, it's about a 355 shot for me. And then I take into account, okay, that's downhill quite a bit, so that's going to carry a little farther. So it's going to have a little wind in my face, so I need to release it, let it carry farther, and then magically you put those two together, and it's the exact right distance. This one's a little tricky. It's nice that we play these lofted woods coming in. When we played it before, I believe I would have had a 3-iron coming in at this, and I would have been from here, pulling it back straight and throwing it way out to 1 and checking it back. A lot of times you were using a lot of these obstacles. Like there were shots that I was making sure that I kicked it in off the inside wall because I knew I'd have a safe shot and I'd give it 2 chances of going in. But I'm going to go with the bite 9-wood, mainly because this 9-wood's shorter than what it shows. So with that out cross of 10, a little bit harder than firm, and this ball's going to have the right distance. I can use bite then too and have it pull in and keep this close. If I would have hit the 7-wood there, in order to keep the distance in the right spot, I would have had to have a cut on that, like a little bit right of B and a little bit right of 2, fought the wind that way to slow it down. A straight shot with the 7-wood, I would have been way long on. This hole's got a whole bunch of different plays on it too. For the most part, well, every time you're playing it, you're hitting an A1-ish type shot, depending on wind and club, at what you're going to have going in. I think today I'm going to always move this way, just because I want to have as much room to get around the outside edge of the tree. I could have thumbed the 7-wood back on that on 2 Des. It wouldn't have been bad. I thought I could be a lot more precise though, because fighting an 11 wind over that edge of over the edge of that thing, a little bit tougher to fight an 11 wind than it would be with a pullback. So I could high tee this, I could hit it with no tee, but I think my play, I'm really not a big fan of this setup at all. I can't go straight over. That tall tree's in my way. So let's look at... All right. We're going to go with the... Gosh. If I had the 9.5 driver, I would just low tee it and skip the water. But we're going to hit the full A 4 wood with no high tee. And we're going to barely get it around the outside of this and see if we can get it to cut back enough. And I didn't get it out enough. That's fine. I'll take my birdie, or I'll take my chance at an eagle here from here. So knowing that you hit those branches there, it knocks it down pretty quick. Especially when you're using a lower club like the 4 wood. If I tried to do that with a 3 wood and I hit those branches, I'd probably wet. Possibly a 5 wood would have worked out of that, but that was a touchy look. Not my favorite. All right, you can put it up here on this little fairway spot here and get to the green in 2. The problem is it's got a big downslope. If you go a little bit too hard, it's kind of in trouble. So in this setup, I'm just going to go high tee with my 8.5. And just throw a C3 on it. I get a pretty good look coming in. Yes, I have driven this green on a fly before. It was possible back in the day. There were a couple setups where you could bang an A1 or a C. It was actually, I think we were banging a C3 at it in the right setup. Oh, that's bad. I didn't get that left at all. I turned 1. Too much turn for it. Oh, well. Okay, so now this one I guarantee I would say this is going to roll over no matter what if I don't C-putt this, because I'm past the 53. It's got to be giving me the longer putter here, so it's going to be coming hot at this with a down 6. I'm going to C-putt this one for sure. All right, this hole is drivable quite a bit. Let's take a look and see what the setup is. Not today. The next tee box up is probably the one we'd be looking at driving this on. But for where the pin is, there's only 2 spots to really go with this. You could go up here. I would hit a high 9 wood and put it up here. I want to make sure I get past the beginning of this. I want to make sure I get past the front edge of this. Otherwise, if I don't get past the front edge, you can't see the line from up here, but if I'm not deep enough on that little island up top, the second shot has to go around a tree. If you're deep enough on it, it's a clean shot. You basically have a clean thumb shot looking at the hole. With this wind, though, I'm just throwing this ball into the middle of this sand, right? Or in the water, but that's fine. That's perfect. I wanted to be farther because right now I just brought this first branch into play, but it's fine. I'll just push it out because the wind's going to push me back. And that was a hole we used to try to hole out quite a bit from that sand because the trajectory coming in took a lot of the break of the green out because it was coming in lower and hotter. You throw a little backspin on it and it would just hop down and trickle at the hole. Pretty simple par 3. It's got a dramatic right break here. You really don't, you could snooker yourself behind some of these edges. I'm going to bite this. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to hit it hard. I want it to clear the corner of that, land, and try to check back down the right 6. Much like that, a little bit more cut. That ball would have snapped. It would have gone a yard shorter and then snapped right at it. All right, an ugly hole. I'm going to say the shot I always play on it. I will offset with the wind, meaning I want to be the side. So if the wind's left or right, I'm going to offset it to the left so I can play a cut in, because I'm going to cut my 3-wood at this. If I hit a straight 3-wood, I hit too high. With just a little bit of cut, I can stay underneath the rock. So from here, I can just cut the 3-wood. I'm going to hit it with release. And it's the perfect height. Just a little cut, a little bit right. The low 4-wood's good too, but with the low 4-wood there, if that wind's in my face, I don't have enough speed to get through. Absolutely. Backspin does increase height. That absolutely did. It's either backspin increases height or roll lowers height, but the spin does affect height. We know for a fact. Even though it doesn't change a number anywhere, it changes the height. But that one I kind of perfected that shot on closest to the pin, because back in closest to the pin, I wouldn't let myself use tees, right? So I learned a shot for that one, because really I was like, well, what's 3 cents? I'm never making that hole anyway. That's really it. If somebody else has a better way on this hole, to my knowledge, the only play here that you're getting there in 2 is to tee it up, land on that pad down that I'm looking at where my marker is, and be on the fairway. If you have an outwind of 15, you can sometimes get a driver up from there, but any other wind, if you're not on the fairway, you are laying up and taking a birdie. So I'm going to just high tee the 10.5, and I'm going to try to plop it down there. I got to hit this a lot harder than you think with the high tee, because this wind is actually going to push it back. The worst thing you can do is push it left and be back in the water. If you push it left and go in the water, it's bad, because your drop is then not getting back to the green. You have to go and lay up to the island up by the pyramid straight ahead of me, and then it's a par at best. So if I end up right, it's a hill coming down. It will most of the time kick off the hill. But if it doesn't, I just tap it forward, or I tap it forward back onto the island, or I knock it up and have another short shot. And I missed it left. I did the one thing I couldn't. Honestly, and then look at that. You're totally screwed from here now. This is a par at best. That didn't feel like I thought there was a crosswind back into it, and apparently I must have overplayed it. There was a good backstop there, and I didn't get it to the backstop and have it turn back around like I was hoping there, but... We've seen some very good players screw this hole up royally in major competition. Okay, well, and I'm telling you right now, in non-major competition, this is not a good look for me at all. All right, so the theory here is I want to hit... I have to have a cut coming back into the wind, so it's going to shorten my distance a little bit. It's going to change my backspin. It's not going to be fighting the 9 coming back up. It's going to only be fighting the 9 a little bit. So with the cut, I'm going to move it sideways. It's going to have a shape that will be like this, come back, and then go down slightly farther than where the ball landed. So can I hit this? I could. Could I hit it like from here and hit a full type in? I could. I almost don't like the full coming in, because that ball could snap to the left side. I'm kind of with you here, but I'm going to do a low T8, right? I'm going to cut to fight the wind and cut to fight the 9. I'm not going to hit it hard. My goal is to land basically pin high with the cut at about the spot that's parallel to this tip, this line. I want to basically land my straight line, but have a cut on it. And I murdered it. I didn't cut it enough. Just not enough cut. Yeah, the full with bite probably could have worked. I mean, it's not... I prefer to only use fulls in the last resort. All right, this is gonna be ugly. You're gonna have to go. Well, do we have the? back with when we played, I believe it was the Flare 9-wood, there were a lot of setups where we would just high tee it and go right here and go straight at it. I don't think we're far enough back, or are we? Anybody got a thought on the 9-wood high tee clearing that? I'd still have to play it right between two trees up there. I think the high 9 clears it. But instead, we're going to play it from over here. The problem that I'm going to have... No, see, I'm going to try the high 9. Screw it. It's going to ruin my round, or it's going to save it. No, that just doesn't look like it's even possible, does it? Forget it. We're trying it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here, guys. No, it did not clear it. Yeah, I could get the line without the trees. It wasn't high enough anyway. So we're going to just go low T5. We're going to cut it as much as we can, throw it out. And actually, I don't think I can low T it. I think I'm going to hit the trees. I think I'm going to hit the hill coming by then. This is a really bad look. Honestly, if I would have put it there off the tee, this is probably going to... I'll probably make this chip. Yeah, that probably should have been the shot that I hit for safe. I wanted to see about getting it up and over. Oh, God. This is not fun either. Jeez. No matter what, I'm teeing it here. I'm going for this no matter what on this setup. 5-wood's going to be too high. Low T is too low. It's got to be... We'll go with the 3. I think the 3's fine. It's just a matter of getting your cut right and getting it out right enough. All right. And then he yanks the putt. Well done. I think Mertzig's going to get a win on that. That was a pretty bad performance. I think I have one more good invitational to go through. Oh, that shot, the driver to the right was kind of a fun one too. That course was just a really bad course sometimes. You could really put yourself in some tough spots. What was I had another good old one here that I saw that I wanted to play real quick. Indigo. Indigo. We're going to play our whammy game here. Yeah, the tee shot I hit there was great, but hey, missing a putt. It happens. I kind of gave up on that round a while ago. That was not my best effort. Indigo, boring one. I like this course because 1 and 2 are drivable somewhat. This one is not. So we'll just line it up for a shot coming in. A little thummy here, some release. And there we go. Oh, come on. That had a 2 break on and barely to the left. That looked good. All right, so this is going to be drivable. I don't know if we're going to go... Oh. God. I don't know if this gets over that bush, and I've never had this shot before, but we're going to try it dead straight. Greatest Gold Tee player alive, self-taught. No lessons. Thanks, Dad. We'll put that on the tubes. The YouTubes get a second YouTube here. That's a good start. Tony's not going to be too pleased. Too much. I wanted to hit that 80. The cool thing about this course is this was before we had tees, and we all played the low lofted set. It was the buzzsaws, I think is what they are called now. But the buzzsaws went driver. It was an 8.5 driver. It went 3-wood, 4-wood, 1 iron, 2 iron, 3 iron, 5 iron. If you look at this hole, the holes on this course, the par 3s are all like 160 to 180. So we had to learn how on a dramatic downhill shot to fight a crosswind with a 3-iron, a 200-yard club, and cut it down to land at 160 with spin on it. It was a different skill that we had to do it, and it's made a lot of these. It's made a lot of shots nowadays feel pedestrian, but it made them also. I mean, there's shots that you just don't think you can do, like cutting a driver down to 220. It can be done. It's not that hard. It's just a question of controlling it. Oh, I babied that. That was weak. Oh, here goes the stroke I got. Whew, saved it. And high T's on this make this a lot better. Well, let's just see if that huge T box here, let's see if this works. Oh! Couple plays here. You could get it. You could put it straight, and there was always a shot. We would lay it back to have, I believe, a 3-wood through the hole in the pyramid, because we didn't have these newfangled high lofted woods. So it would either be that, leave it way back to have a 3-wood through the hole. Now I got a 9-wood that clears this no problem. Or you can bomb an A1 out in the fairway to the right and have a look at it no problem too. But I can murder boner this and backspin it, and it's fine. Which T-box you're talking about, VCU? Down and so high. This was my first claim to fame, my first shot that I came up with. So when we first started this course, we had that set of clubs I was talking about. Well, the 4-wood didn't clear those trees for most boxes, right? So everybody switched off of these and went to the hybrids, I believe, was the next set of clubs. Well, I figured out that on most tee boxes, on most shots on this, you could just hit a driver, the 8.5, and as long as you caught the branches going through, it would die perfectly on the green. So I still had the long club, and I had this green too. So it got you a shot on the back nine a lot, because at the time, it was still a 320 driver, I believe. It might have been changed before this course, but I think it was 320 on the driver at that point in time too. Now that I'm saying that, I think I'm wrong. But right now, we're just going straight over the top with the 5. Oh, the size of it, I got you. I would say, too, that adding all those old tee boxes probably isn't a priority. It probably should have been more of when they did it and allowed tees on these old courses, but now it's not really a big deal. Again. Yeah, I'll throw it up. I gotta see, can you do the real-time rivals a second time? After this course, I'll throw a real-time rivals and see how we do. Ow! All right, there were some cool looks on this one too. You can hit a C3-ish type shot. I typically now will just prefer to go here and knock it straight through. I don't care if I'm off the fairway. It's not a big deal. And you saw, even though that 9-wood showed that I'm like 30 yards past that green, you have to know that it went past it. Sometimes I miss having the 3-iron going at holes like that. That hole would have been so much easier to make with a 3-iron. All right, cool. This one's awfully close to being drivable. I'm not going to risk it too bad, but we'll give it a shot at it. All right, so a 22-yard putt from this deep in the fringe, there's no way I can get it to the hole. I have to chip if I want to make it. And I knew yeah, my chipping is atrocious right now. But we'll take the birdie. It was really fun, though, man. Real-Time Rivals gave you some fun looks at holes that you normally don't get. I just want to find a way to put it on this fairway up close. This next shot's not bad at all, then. If you guys notice that when I'm playing thumb shots, most of the time I'm playing up 1 to 2 clubs. It's mainly because I like to thumb soft, and I can get my lines better that way. When I have to snap something in and get a lot more on it, then it kind of messes me up. I'm going to play a kooky little shot here, right? I'm just going to hit a driver straight. With that water being that high up in the air, it will skip almost every setup. Oh my God, what is wrong with my putting tonight? Ugh. Well, I gave one back. Uh-oh. All right, do I go for it? I'll probably blow. This is probably going to be a blow up if I go for this. I'm going for it. We'll blow up. Who cares? It was such a rare setup that I had to try it. Back in the day, we drove that green, but you would hit it with the 8.5 driver, and it could get through a gap. It would hit the face of the wall going up, and then kick up onto the green. This one, I'm just going to hit the stock club, the 7-wood. I'm going to release it, though, and play the wind on my cut. All right, I got the one back. That's fine. Well, I could have been somebody if I got that one to stick. Well, my worst spot to put this. That's great. Ooh, saved it. All right, 28. I hold out. I had 2 hole outs. I lost the stroke on the par 5. I missed a putt. So par on that setup was 28. And actually, I probably missed the one par. Par might be 29. But I'll take that 28. Actually, no. I missed the par 5, too. So that's a double eagle hole. So I missed 2 there. I missed the putt. Par was probably 29 or 30 on that. It very well could be, man. Jason Elliott's asking, is this porn? It's early. We might get to porn at some point. Probably not tonight, though. I'm gonna get this. There, we want to see Real-Time Rivals, but I'm not sure what course we're looking at or how we even do it. So let's look to see. I didn't know I could still pick. Absolutely no, not a chance for Stouts. I would have had a real problem acing hole 2, for one. That would have been close to not getting there with the straight shot. And I don't know, man. Now that I'm looking at it, probably not, though. On courses where there's more cut shots and distance have a lot to do with it, I don't know if a lot of those holes I could have eliminated. I want to have thumb shots mainly with Stouts. Like, that's what I want. I want to be able to move the tee and thumb it. We saw how Indigo's tee boxes are super small, so I lose that part of it. Well, if I finish the ladder already, can't I just pick? So where is it at? Is it online? Golf? Real-time rivals? Oh, so I can do single? All right, and then I pick who I'm playing. So do we want to go Young John Daly? Is that Young? Where's Young? Why isn't Young open? I've won the whole thing. I'm not playing casual. No, I don't want to screw around with casual. No, but is Young John Daly not in the real-time rivals? Oh, wow. I have Oh, you know what? I copied somebody else's hard drive. This isn't even me. Let me get off of this. Let me see. I might have to do the real-time rivals ladder for him on this machine. I thought it went by player, though. Let's see. Yeah, I'm on Duffer Dan now. Apparently, when the new year, with the new courses, or with the new hard drive, you lose this. This is going to be painful. We won't do it now, then. I'll throw a Jamaica against John Daly. And let's see, my projection is 2 better, so I'm projecting a 31 or 32 on that. Now you guys gave me something to do. I'll get the real-time rivals down since that ladder's still there. But I don't have Young John Daly opened up now, though, do I? So how could I... Wait, is Jamaica even one of the courses you can play him on? Oh, there it is. First call, first dibs. He said he wanted Elkhorn. I mean, he wanted Jamaica. So on Jamaica, my set of clubs is standard, but I will play stouts. Shit, I'm going at this with no tee. Yeah, I beat him on the first try. I played him on Dodge, and I shot a 33, and he actually shot like a 26. All right, it's probably because this one hasn't been done on this drive yet. All right, 5. Yeah, we got a 5. Well, oh, forget stouts. Yep, back to stouts again. Okay, remember that. Young John is not in the ladder. Okay. Well, then this is boring. He's gonna lose by 10. I'm gonna make him DNF. Put it that way. Yeah. All right, we got 2. We got a 1 win, 1 break. This should go in if I hit it right. I think it is. Oh. Ah. Oh, you can. Okay. All right, he's locked. Good. Wow, you guys have played this real-time rival stuff. You guys are going for scores on this. All right, he's down by 2 already, guys. This is going to get embarrassing. But it's funny too. Hey Al, for some reason I don't have the young John Daly bodysuit either, and I beat the real time rivals the first day it came. We got the courses for them. All right, 9 wood. This is good. Did I get it right enough? Ah. Wait, did he really? Is that? That's his 3rd shot, right? Ah. I have a feeling he's going to lose by more than 10, guys. I don't remember, does Jamaica give me any extra holes in the real-time rivals? I know Dodge, you get an extra par 5 that you can drive. Oh, did he get one? No. No, he did not. Stouts are dirty. He's going to be down by 10. A couple stupid hole-outs ain't going to help him much. See, sometimes you overcorrect. I overcorrected on that. I moved that a little bit right, mainly because from playing that home edition events last week, it had a bias to the left a lot more when it was short. If I didn't move that at all, that was dead end. I think he might DNF, guys. I think he's going to DNF. All right, where are we putting this? Let's play the long. Let's play the short way today. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I got to come up with something good from here. I should have had bite on that, and I rolled it, thinking I was going to be farther up. But with the roll, it made it bounce down the hill, and now I got that tree in play. Oh, he almost got that one. Yeah, it's weird. It seemed like a glitch, and a lot of people had told me they didn't get the bodysuit from him either. Ooh. He probably already should this game. No, I don't think they ever DNF, Frank. But Frank, I'm telling you, your first-hand info, dude. Worlds will not be canceled one bit. Postponed? That's not even from IT, but I will tell you, they guarantee it does not happen at the date that it was originally planned. My initial guess is September, but I don't know that for a fact. I mean, this really is a pretty normal setup on this course. Like, it's not really any easier right now. No, Frank, it is definitely not canceled. All right, so we're getting that thought out of our head. We're not going to put that negative energy into the universe. We will be having a world championship. Did I get that? Nope. It's really hard to fight that short of a wind sideways with a non-pullback shot. I knew better that I couldn't make that with that shot that I hit, so I should have probably hit a pullback and bit it in. Yeah, the current date's out the window pretty much, dude. VCU, the current date's pretty much out the window. I don't think Vegas season's going to be open by then. It is light up city. Oh, did he? Oh, he almost, guys. He's trying really hard to catch me. I really don't see it happening though. I'm gonna need a major meltdown here. All right, let's get a short wedge in. Almost want the bunker here. Blue jean, baby. I don't like the 2-iron coming in. That's going to be... What is he doing? Of course, I finally get a straight pullback on a chip when I was expecting a cut chip on that. Look at that. That's some good putt. All right. Now we start getting interesting, right? What the hell does this look? I think stouts make this hole immensely easier too. It's hard. I mean, even the crosswinds are really nice, but the outwind and the inwinds, it makes this hole dramatically better to play with stouts. Jamaica is a stouts course, guys. There's really no distance issues ever on it. The Tunchi hum. Oh, we're just going light ups back and forth. Are these greens easy? Yeah, these greens are easy greens too. I would have hit a different shot. I didn't even notice that. Not my best effort. Oh yeah, he does. This is brutal. I mean, this is like playing a 1 through 5 with Shane. All right. I think we've gone through this course ad nauseum too, but if there's anything weird that I'm doing different that you guys hadn't seen, obviously let me know. He's out lighting me up, though. That's not good. Oh, so good. He's so good. Did you guys see that? He's so good. Look at him. Everyone, it's like dueling, it's dueling light ups. He's right. Okay, so we're going for the ever elusive 31 under, guys. Oh, he almost got the ever elusive 32. No, he didn't. Ah! Wow, guys, we did it. We did it. We did it. Together, we beat young John Daly. Jason Stark, eat your heart out, sir. So there's no way I have to do the ladder to play young John Daly, is what we're saying. I'm not going through that tonight. All right. Yeah, that was a nail biter. We were right on point on that one, though. But for tonight, just remember, home edition, guys, we added we've added 4 more home edition qualifiers, so that's the big news of the night. There's going to be 4 extra weeks of home edition events where 1 player each week will be getting a pass for Worlds. So that's where the 4 extra are coming from. Otherwise, we'll see everybody Wednesday. I'm going to keep an eye on the events and see if we need to get any more scores up right now. I got a feeling it's going to be me and Tony Johnson at the end, and one of us will get to 180 and the other one will quit. Let's see where we're at. We're sitting right now. Whammy mouth just ended on that. Let's see how the whammy mouth one did even on that. All right, so Tony's 1 stroke back of me, and then Mike Arrington from Seattle he's down 6 to me and down 5 to Tony, obviously. Anybody else on here going for taking a shot for it? Catfishing is making a run, but guys, that event is terrible. It's so hard. It's so hard to shoot a clean round. I saw Arrington put up a 36 with 0, and the bad thing is, if you look at these scores, Todd Clark has 160,000 great shot points in his 5 games, and then it's like me with 110 is second. Everyone else most people are under 100. Oh, I'm sorry. And then we got Seth Harris too at the 120s as well. But it's crazy, man. It's a different type of setup. Could be great in its own way, but for the events mode, it's tough. We'll catch you guys again very soon, probably Friday. We'll have Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I'll try to get back to 7. I actually like the 7:30. It gives me a little extra time with the wife. I'm going to go see her now. But thanks again for checking in, everybody. We'll see you again soon. And this word of mouth is over. Maybe. I got to figure out how to turn this damn keyboard on.